out tonight and help celebrate with Shauna. I know she appreciates it. Woo! Right? And I know everybody here is just as happy as I am that she was reelected. When she won the first time, they said, "Oh, it's a fluke. No one saw it coming. She snuck up on them." Every excuse in the book came out. But then the second time around, they don't have that anymore. They can't say that. And so for her to be elected a second time, and not only just elected the second time, but also by an overwhelming margin, it's a testament.
I know.
It's a testament to her hard work. She makes sure she gets out there and does the basics, the blocking and tackling of politics. But it also shows her great crossover appeal. She has a message that everyone, all families can relate to. She's heading up the fight against fraud on the EBT, Massachusetts Institute. And she's got several bills out now to help protect our children and our disabled communities from sexual predators. And I'm sure she's going to be the one to find where that missing $25 million in Belfast money went as well. I can see she's itching to get into that fight. So at this time, what I want to do is before we get this rolling, is introduce. I know we've got some elected officials here tonight who are still with us. I think first we've got Josh Borden. Oh, you know what? Please hold your applause until the end so that we can get through this. We've got Josh Borden from the planning board. Stand up, Josh. Mr. Barry Stein from the school committee. Right over here. Thanks for coming, Barry. We've got Estelle Borges from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Ms. Borges in the back. We want to thank Mayor Tom Hoy for stopping by a little bit earlier today. He's had he had some commitments that he had to go take care of. Oh, I'm sorry. And we've got John McCall, City Council President, also in the house. Where's John McCall? Thanks for coming tonight, John. And in the house. Exactly. And an esteemed guest we have Miss Taunton, Ashley Sharves with us tonight. And thank you all for coming. All right, Ashley, in June she is running for Miss Massachusetts. Let's all give her some support, and we're going to send her off to take that time. All right, so it's my pleasure to introduce our special guest tonight. We've got Mr. Jeff Cooner, and I know if you're like me, you follow him from 6 to 9 on 680 WRKO for the Cooner Report. He's got cutting-edge political and social issues that he talks about all the time, and we're lucky to have him in his first public appearance here in Massachusetts. He and Shauna, he's working with Shauna, and if you've probably heard him talk with her to help pass the Child Sexual Predator Prevention Act. And when it's passed, it's going to be one of the toughest laws in the nation that goes after these predators. In addition to his radio work, Jeff is also a columnist at the Washington Times, and his columns appear every Friday. He's also the president of the Edmund Burke Institute, which is a Washington think tank. Don't make me come take that. All right. Like all of us here, Jeff is a staunch believer in personal responsibility, self-help, self-reliance, strong families. These are all the values that appeal to us as families, and that Shauna supports as well. So without any further ado, we're lucky to have Mr. Jeff Cooner. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you for that nice introduction. I want to thank all of you for coming out today. It's truly an honor and a pleasure to speak to all of you. I see a lot of my fans out there, a lot of my members of my audience. It's great to finally meet some of you. I got to tell you, I do a lot of events like this. I used to do a lot of these in Washington, D.C. This is my first one in the Massachusetts Greater Boston area.
Welcome aboard,
I really, I mean, it's just, Cooksey called my dear producer, Bill Cooksey, who thinks it's actually the Cooksey report. But let that go. He calls me up and he says, Jeff, Shauna, he didn't call her Shauna O'Connell, a representative of O'Connell, Shauna is doing a fundraiser. Do you want to speak? I said, Cooks, put me down on the list. I mean, that's the kind of woman Shauna is. And one of the most shocking things coming to Boston, people ask me, Jeff, what is it? Is it the roads? Is it the polls? Is it the taxes? Is it hearing Mayor Menino mangle every word? Oh, I think he's like a guy in Sopranos. I said, no, it's not that. I swear to you. The corruption among the political class is as bad as in Washington, or hell, if it's possible, even worse. I'm like, I thought I left the corruption, and here I am. But this is what I love about Shauna. She is an insurgent. She is principled. She crosses party lines. She's a woman after my own heart, and I'll give all of you an example. I remember the morning when the John Burbine case broke. All of you know, I mean, a really sick, twisted individual accused of molesting at least 13 children, one of them 8 days old. 8 days old.
Awful.
And I'm reading that story, and my blood is boiling and boiling and boiling. And I find out he had a conviction in 1989. He's a, quote, level 1 sex offender, so he's not on some kind of an internet registry. He falls through the cracks. 2003, a 5-year-old kid accused him of molesting him. Nothing happened. 2005, a child accused him of molesting him. Nothing happened. And then we find out his wife is running basically an unlicensed daycare center where he's having access to all these kids. I said, it's enough. I've had it with cases of child molestation and child abuse in this state. So I went on the air and I just let it rip. I just let it rip. I said, enough is enough. We have to stand up to sexual predators in this state and put our children first. The moment the show was over, the lines were still blazing. You could still see the lines as we finished the show. Boom, Shauna O'Connell calls. We got to do something. We got to do one strike and you're out. One strike. If you are convicted of raping or molesting a child, you're not going to be out in 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. You are going to spend 25 years rotting behind bars.
Yeah, and that's anyone under the age of 18 actually. Yes, even up to young high school students.
He's now sponsoring the toughest bill that I've seen in years up on Beacon Hill, called the Child Sexual Predator Prevention Act, which is finally now going to put children first and put these molesters behind bars. Take another issue. I mean, I even laugh because it's so outrageous when I talk about the corruption. The Boston Herald reports there are 19,000 people on welfare missing. They're collecting, they're collecting a check. They're collecting benefits that all of us in this room are paying for, right out of our pocket, every week or every 2 weeks. I don't know. You ask the Patrick, I don't know. You ask, literally, you ask the welfare department, I don't know. So the checks are going out, but we don't know who's collecting the checks. And then today, this led my show today. The lines, people were going crazy. The Inspector General, appointed by the government, looked in and did an internal audit of our welfare EBT program. We are giving out $25 million in waste, in welfare that people shouldn't be getting. A woman runs a daycare center. She's running a business. She collects an EBT card. You got illegals are collecting EBT welfare cards. There's a landlord. I swear, just one laugh. I was on the floor. He's a landlord. He has tenants. They pay him rent. He collects an EBT. He has an EBT card and collects welfare. Who has been leading the way on welfare abuse and welfare reform but Shauna O'Connell? And if I were to describe Shauna O'Connell in a nutshell, she defends the middle and working class of this state and of her district. She defends the taxpayers of this state. And I have to say this, and I mentioned this to a few people in the audience. I talk to a lot of people every day. I get a lot of emails every day. There, mark my words, there is a tax revolt brewing in this state. The taxpayers of this state, hardworking people, the productive members of this state and of this country and of this society, are now saying enough is enough. And I think their tipping point, where they, I think, committed overreach, was Deval Patrick's proposal to raise the state income tax from 5.25% to 6.25%. People have had enough.
Let's propose to lower it.
Yes,
Yeah,
we shouldn't raise taxes, we should be cutting taxes. People are leaving the state. Businesses are leaving the state. Revenue is leaving the state. We are going the way of California if we don't turn things around. And so who has been leading the charge to hold the political class accountable to not raise taxes? It's Shauna O'Connell. So on every measure, protecting our children, stopping welfare fraud and abuse, protecting the taxpayer, protecting us, putting the taxpayer first. This, I believe, is why Shauna O'Connell is shooting up like a rocket in state politics. And I want to make a prediction right now. She doesn't know I'm going to say this. I mentioned it to Holly just there. It's my own prediction. Take it for what it's worth. I wasn't paid to say this. Nobody. I don't work for Menino's office. Nobody slipped any money in my pocket to say this. I believe one day, if she continues to be a principled voice for the forgotten middle and working class in this state, you will see potentially a governor, Shauna O'Connell.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. That would be cool.
The only thing I want to say to Shauna before I only keep it short, Jeff, because I could go on for hours. Right, Jeff, keep it short, 10 minutes. Just let me wrap up by saying this. Shauna, when one day you are in the governor's mansion, or maybe even on Capitol Hill, Senator Shauna O'Connell, don't forget the little people like that. Really, thank you all of you for coming. There are very few politicians that are truly principled, honest, and courageous. I rarely do this for many people. I do it for her because she truly is a beacon for all of us up on Beacon Hill. God bless you. May God bless Shauna O'Connell, and may God bless America.
Believe it or not, Deval has not built a governor's mansion yet. But maybe he'll do that with that $11 billion that he saved you in taxpayer dollars. So. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much for being here with me this evening. I'm very honored that you've chosen to be here this evening. And I want to give a special thanks to Tom Hoy. He had to leave, but he was here. He's our mayor, and he has been doing an outstanding job since he was elected. And this has been his first year. I'm very anxious and hopeful of what he's going to bring for us in his next year in office. And many thanks to my good new friend, my best new friend, Jeff Cooner. Welcome to Massachusetts. Jeff is new to Massachusetts, and hopefully he's able to find his way around crazy cities like Boston. Very hard to find your way around. And Taunton, I think. But I know that Massachusetts probably supplies you with an endless amount of material for your radio. You're in the right place to talk radio.
Almost all of it is not so
And right now, I want to make a very, very special announcement. I'm very excited to make this announcement. I want you all to know that my very good friend, John Chico, who was just up here this evening, has officially announced that he will be running for Taunton City Council. I could not be happier to have John running for City Council. He is a dedicated father, husband, a former Marine, a businessman. He is going to bring common sense to our City Council, and he's going to be a great leader for our families and our community. So I hope that you will throw your full support and active support behind him as he goes throughout this year and runs for City Council.
Thanks,
Thanks,
John.
John. Thank you so much. So another race this year, but last year was quite the year for all of us. Some challenges, a fun election campaign that went on. And I'll tell you, I couldn't have done it without you. I owe you all a tremendous thanks. Whether you gave me a kind word, put a bumper sticker on your car, or held a sign for me, you were instrumental in my ability to get reelected, and I am very grateful to you. Together, we have made a big difference, and we will continue to make a big difference. So thanks so much. During the last 2 years, I've been very fortunate to be involved with so many great people here in Taunton and in Easton, organizations, associations, and people. And I'll tell you what is most fortunate about that is the great people that I've met and the friendships that I've formed. I've met so many people that care deeply about their communities, and it really is a privilege to work and know so many of you. It's been a deep honor to serve as your state representative for the last 2 years, and I pledge to you that I will work just as hard as these next 2 years as I did in my first 2 years to get things done, because that's what it takes.